Today's talk will be on aspects of Vasana Samskara because I keep talking about it, but I realize that people get into a lot of confusion about these things. Even though I've spoken on Vasana Samskara before, the thing is, the Vasana is your karmic desire, your karmic passion. Vasana literally means fragrance. Yeah. What you can smell. And the sense of smell is the strongest sense in human beings. That is why they have used that to designate. If it is a karmic desire, there is really nothing you can do about it. It is what it is. I'll speak a bit more on the Vasana and the Samaskara. The Samaskara is more interesting because Samaskara is karmic tendency. If you like westerns more than comedies, then that is a Samaskara. That is a certain way your mind is, your being is. Over many lifetimes, you have privileged one kind of behavior over the other, and that carries forward. I have explained this many times. I'll say it once more briefly. Personalities do not reincarnate. Only Vasana and Samaskara goes forward. Your desires and your tendencies go forward. Who you are in a lifetime is a 70, 80, 100 year one shot, and that's it, it's done. So the greatest mistake about reincarnation that people have is that the exact personality will reincarnate, which actually makes people quite happy because everybody has this childish desire for personal immortality. So that my nuisance personality will survive me seems to give a lot of solace to a lot of people. I do not know why. you know yeah, it's like, like my family couldn't stand me, my society couldn't stand me, but I will be born once more, and then I will be in my right environment, and I will be acknowledged at my true value. Well, I'm sorry to puncture that bubble. The personality never reincarnates. It's always the vasana and the samaskara that reincarnates. And a samaskara in modern terms could quite well be a neural pathway. It could well be a habitual pathway. A samaskara is a karmic habit, for want of a better. Now, there is a very complex way in how the karma, it comes into your chakras and it interacts with your chakras, and then your chakras start interacting with the tattvas, and or rather the tattvas start interacting with the karma, and they create the chakras, and then the chakras create the embodiment, they create the body. All that is very complicated, all that is very occult. It's all that is besides the point. So even if you understand that whole process perfectly, what are you going to do with it? I'm not getting into that. But the problem is, a lot of people with a sort of intermediary or even superficial understanding of Vasana Samskara will try to fight their Vasana Samskara. They'll try to eliminate them. And this is a terrible mistake. Because all that you will be doing is, you will be doing repression and suppression. All that you will be doing is, you will be, just today I was saying in that other group that India's greatest problem is self-righteousness, and the other side of self-righteousness is hypocrisy. That we just love the self-righteous, and self-righteous people always are hypocrites also. Almost invariably the hypocrisy factor is there. If you try to fight what you desire, now your desire is instinct, your desire is tied to the very fact of how your life energy is bound to this embodiment, bound to this body, bound to this annamaya kosha. If you're going to fight that, you're fighting your body. You're actually fighting against how your body is constructed in this incarnation. You're fighting against what you were supposed to experience. So fighting with vasanas is basically a fool's game. To fight with it, I'm not saying that they can't be eliminated or they won't be eliminated. That's not what I'm saying at all. But to consciously enter into opposition with your passions, to consciously enter into opposition, and I will eliminate all of them and I will not add any more vasanas. You don't sit and consciously say, next lifetime I will add these. It happens. Every choice that you make determines what is strengthened in you. From this moment, what does our affirmation say in breath number 3? Nothing that I eat or drink, think or act will abuse this temple of the living. What we are saying is not that I will fight my vasanas. What we are saying is I will create new samaskaras. I will create new tendencies. I will create better tendencies. I will create more spiritual tendencies. I will create more spiritual habits. I will create more noble habits. I will create more healthy habits. I am not going to waste my entire life energy trying to fight my programming. I have said this before, no, that you have to change your entire operating system. No, OS badalna padta hai. You cannot keep the old OS. When you are trying to wipe out your vasanas and you're even trying to wipe out your samaskaras, what you're trying to do is fix the bugs. You have come with a certain kind of operating system. Your vasana samskara is your operating system, and you're trying to fix the bugs. What you have to do is not just upgrade, you have to install a completely new kind of functionality within you. And that is the purpose of sadhana. That is the purpose of the training, and that is the purpose of the affirmation and the breathing and the meditation and the sannidhi and the pilgrimage and creating the body into a kshetram. All those things are done so that now we develop better ways of living, we develop better habits of living, more healthy, more effective, more noble, more spiritual, more inner directed, more ethical, more socially conscious. Because what you desire is what you desire. What you are is what you are. Telling somebody, don't be angry. What kind of an absurd statement is that? I've never understood this advice freely doled out to people. Don't be angry. What is the reason why the person is getting angry? What is triggering that person? What are the circumstances or environment? Does a person like to be angry? I don't think anybody really likes to be angry. Without any kind of intervention that can change that angry response, all that you are doing is making that person feel bad about themselves. I don't even have that much emotional self-control. But that is what we say. You are a prisoner of your biology, you are a prisoner of your vasana samskara. Your karma acts in a certain way until the breath changes, until the patterns of thought change, until thought still, all those things will continue. The more we learn this, the more we understand this, the less time we waste in trying to rectify all the flaws. We just keep trying to increase the positive qualities. If you create enough positive qualities within yourself, they will compensate for your flaws. You will stop acting out. Now, if you like chocolate, you like chocolate. I don't know, unless they give you electroconvulsive shock therapy, I don't know if there is any way to really take that liking out. But if you live in a healthier way, if you're breathing better, if you're meditating more, one day you will find I don't need that rush. The chemicals that are released because one is eating the cocoa, that whatever is found in the chocolate, it releases dopamine, into you, and it gives you that rush, and there's a whole chemical process behind it, and you'll find I don't need it because you have become happier just by doing the breath, just by doing the meditation, just by doing the affirmation, just by being in the 8 spiritual breaths, you have become happier, and you don't need a chocolate substitute. The many people, of course, that chocolate comes from cocoa. Cocoa is a plant, therefore eating chocolate is eating vegetables. Yeah, okay. But the chocolate we eat is not natural, it's processed in 1,000 different ways. It's like the tobacco that people smoke. The cancer doesn't even come actually from the tobacco, it comes from all the additives to get the tobacco packaged in a commercial way, with millions and in packets, and it's all those additives which are much way more carcinogenic than the actual tobacco. I suppose tobacco can also be regarded as a vegetarian. So drinking also can be regarded as a vegetarian, since it's not flesh. Anyways, the point I am saying is, if you try to enter into battle with your innate nature, you will lose. If you enter into battle with your karmic setting, your vasana samaskara is your karmic setting. If you enter into battle with that, you will lose, and even worse, you will actually lose very badly, because you will become a hypocrite. Or you will be awarding yourself self-congratulatory medals. I am fighting against this tendency of mine. And now you have become, the sin of pride has activated in you, and I'm a pious person, I'm a good person, and all those traps, which are much more dangerous than just accepting, that I'm an angry person. Because the vasana is the vasana, you can't do anything about it. If you are very lucky and you've done a lot of sadhana, and the kundalini is up and there's a lot of shift in the prana shakti, sometimes the vasana burns through, it is true. But if you consciously try to fix it, there is a problem. Because your vasana samaskaras create your personality, if you consciously do processes, mantra or havan or pilgrimage or whatever, if you consciously do processes to eliminate your samaskaras and your vasanas, you will end up with no personality, or you will end up with a very weird and peculiar and abnormal personality. The personality that you had and the personality that was your karmic destiny for this lifetime, instead of seeing it through, you just wipe the slate clean, but you don't realize that there is a vacuum. And something has to fill that vacuum. And so very often the personality is not improved in any way, the personality actually deteriorates. And the person, which is why a lot of the people who've done very peculiar kind of sadhana become wild and uncontrollable, and they cannot function in society, because they burnt up all the vasana samskaras, and now there is no way that they can function in society. They have no control over their language, their behavior, their nothing, and they have to become outsiders. So what is so obnoxious about your personality, unless you're a sociopath or a psychopath, and even then, there are levels in that. Why can you not accept your personality as it is and just try to enlarge yourself, just try to develop more facets to yourself, rather than try to eliminate certain things which are organically bonded to you? So this frustration I have, because this whole upadesh, it gets my goat like nothing else. This whole moral lecture and finger wagging, that be good, be better, and don't lie, don't this thing, everything is don't. And everything is an expectation of impossible perfection. And that is burdened onto our kids. Very soon the kids figure out that the parents are bullshitting. उनसे तो होता नहीं है, and they are expecting it from us. तो ये this frustration of trying to attain something that is practically impossible, and even if it is possible, it ends up with its own downside, because you create a very strange kind of personality for yourself, or you create a completely antisocial personality. Not a dangerous antisocial, but just basically a person who cannot function in society anymore. What is the need for that? Just create better samaskaras. Just create better ways of functioning. Just create better habits to get up in the morning and to do the breaths. That is samskara. That's a new habit you are consciously placing into your body. When you do the breaths, you become very aware of your body, you become very aware of how you breathe, you become very aware of how your body functions. You practice the affirmation, so you become aware of higher dimension thinking, higher dimension goals. You sit in meditation, so many things you are shifting just by that simple practice. When you go to a temple, when you go to a secret spot, when you come and sit in meditation, each of these things are samaskaras you're creating. You're creating better ways of functioning. You're creating stronger ways of functioning. You're creating more integral ways of functioning. Or when you decide, I'm not going to waste my time watching so much TV, for instance, or spending so much time answering all the futile emails that come to me, or wasting my time on social media, all those things are samaskara transforming. अब वासना का क्या किया जाए? This is what I keep thinking, what the person is the person. They made this movie recently, what is that, Dam Laga Ke Haisha, which is about one fellow is quite good looking but quite an ass. He's not fit for anything. So he is married off forcibly to a fat girl who's got a government job, which is all that his parents care about. And then the whole story is about how they kind of, the rough edges are rubbed off and they come to some kind of understanding, which is all very well, but the story doesn't end there. One day, if that fellow becomes a local MLA or an MP, immediately the old vasana for the hot girl will activate and the trouble will begin. At the moment the person has made some compromise, and if he is a very aware person, or if he is a person who becomes emotionally mature, he can get past his frustration that I have been forcibly married to a girl I find unattractive. Most people can't. And this is not about men or women. Everybody has a certain picture or image of the kind of people that they are attracted to, and that's that. Emotional maturity is recognizing that's a very shallow way of judging another human being. And as we grow in life and we have more experiences in life, we begin to realize that the packaging is the least important part of the people, and there are other more important qualities that matter. But it takes a little bit of time. What we are saying is that is the new samaskara, that is the socialization process, that is the samaskara, where not just the shallow, immediate hot or not. The hot or not is the vasana. And if you don't recognize that, look, this is how I am fixed, this is how I am triggered, this is how I react, later on you will get into trouble. And that is what happens in all these scandals of these old men. Suddenly, we have the case of that Pachori or whatever, that, and he's hitting on that. What's happening to him? Finally, he thinks he's in a place where that vasana can be gratified. Whether it's true or not, we don't know, but it seems to be true. I hope it is not true, but I am not very hopeful about my hope. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. In each one of those cases, here are people at the pinnacle of their career. They have established, they have got social respect, they have, in all ways they've been validated, but this one vasana has never gone away. And now, before it's too late and when all the parts still function, with or without Viagra, let us because they are not in yoga, so they don't understand, this is not really me, This is not who I am. This is not what I have become. This is just what I was given. This is just the hand I was dealt with. You don't have to play the cards you were dealt with. You can choose other cards. But उतना self awareness होता, why go into these people? अरे experienced yogis fall into that trap, no? Great and famous yogis fall into that. The whole point of emotional maturity is to be able to recognize, is this a vasana or is this samskara? And what is the danger? See, some vasanas are mild. What's the big problem about liking chocolate? खाओ ना. वैसे भी तो मरने वाले हैं. वैसे भी तो मरने वाले हैं. थोड़ा चॉकलेट खा के मरो तो खुशी से मरेंगे ना. You know, like first time I went to some, when I was still a journalist, I went to one junket, not a junket, it was the Mauritius people had come here and they wanted the Indian film industry to come and shoot over there. So they laid out very traditional Mauritius food on the table and everything. And there was one thing which, it sounds weird, but man, it was like the most awesome thing I had eaten till then. Roast chicken in honey. I know it sounds weird, but it's not. It was just brilliant. Everybody was stuffing their face with that one thing. Now, you know, you like that, you like that. It's a mild thing. There is no issue there. Now, when that vasana becomes uncontrollable, then it becomes gluttony. You know, and then it becomes something, an appetite that you cannot control, then it becomes gluttony. Then gluttony is correctly as one of the 7 deadly sins, you know. Because if you cannot control your tongue, you're done for. The reason I am saying is that it sounds so odd, but I can tell you that got cleaned out first. Everybody loved it so much. God knows what the tandoor spice was or what the mix was or anything. Everybody loved it. It got cleaned out first. Roast chicken dipped in honey. After that, it became legendary amongst a few of us who went. That was our cut-off point for a compliment. You know, roast chicken, roast chicken dipped in honey. Not आपके मुंह में घी शक्कर, आपके मुंह में roast chicken dipped in honey. The point I am making is that is a mild kind of. But what was the trigger in all of us? None of us had ever eaten that ever in life before. But somewhere deep within, it was there. None of us, we had never ever in life even thought this possible. But the minute we had it, man, all that caveman instinct came right back, you know. Yeah, now people are going to get upset. He's a yogi and he's talking about eating meat. You know? All right. Let them get upset. So don't try to fight. Just try to create as much. You see, if you have something like a drug addiction is actually not really a vasana. Drug addiction is a samaskara that is created. Because there is always a choice. There is always a moment when the person chooses to. Nobody today is innocent about these things. Everybody knows what this can lead to, and you still choose to inject or snort or whatever. You know, so drug addicts, I think, actually get. No doubt, I understand it's an addiction and they can't help themselves, but you know, they should be held culpable at least that in that they didn't show any sense in choosing. Thing is, if you try to eliminate all your vasanas, that's a losing battle. If you try to eliminate your samskaras, that is not a losing battle, but it's a dangerous battle, because like I said, you might end up with some kind of abnormal personality. Very clearly you might end up with some kind of abnormal personality. But if you try to create fresh samaskaras, if you try to create positive, noble samaskaras, if you try to create something that is life enhancing rather than life retarding, now you've developed a new set of habits to live your day by. You don't have the time to indulge all the negative and the wrong. You actually craft and create an entirely new Swarupa. Which is not to say when you see the ice cream you won't salivate. You will. But now you know, okay, I shouldn't eat that. So this giving up sugar and all those things, it was just a way of trying to break you from your tendencies. Okay, the vasana is there. Indulging the vasana is a samaskara. शुगर का वासना है, ठीक है तो है. किसने बताया कि क्योंकि वासना है इट हैज टू बी इंडल्ज? वो फिर समस्कारा बन जाता है. सो बाय सेइंग ओके आई विल गिव अप शुगर or I will give up rice or whatever the vratams that people keep taking. That's a way of creating a new samaskara. It's a way of creating certain discipline. Atha yoga anushasanam, atha yoga anushasanam. I keep blabbering that. And now begins the discipline of yoga. So we need to understand this. We spend too much time in privileging the negative aspects, the automatic instinctive aspects, and not enough time in what we can actually do and what we can actually control and what we can actually transform. And if you have something like the 8 spiritual breaths, what the hell is it that you cannot transform? People have stopped smoking, people have stopped drinking. I mean, those are two of the most difficult things to give up. Because again, smoking and drinking is not vasana. Yes, that whatever hit happens, the chemical reaction happens. But smoking and drinking, okay, drinking is different. Many people can become blind alcoholics with just one drink because their genetic code is like that. But most people have to train the body to become alcoholic. It's a series of things that you do. And the breaths can break all that. If you do it, and you do it long enough, the breaths can break so many things. Breaths can break so many things. And they can add entirely new set of habits, and your habits make your personality. What you do all day long is what you become. So the minute you understand this, that all my sadhana, because as I keep saying, nobody is enlightened because of sadhana, but nobody is enlightened without sadhana also. Because the sadhana is needed. And when we say we need to remove the karmic pile up, the karmic rubble, the karmic rubbish, what we are saying is naya samaskara. So that the Shakti is trying to flow and transform you. The Shakti is trying to enter you and transform you. But because of your vasana samaskara, rubbish heap, it can't get through. Create new and better samaskaras and give the Shakti a chance. Give the Shakti a chance to enter you and transform you from the cellular level upwards. It's like all things in yoga, it is deathly simple. I bang my head in frustration over this. Everything is so ridiculously simple actually in the end. And yet we make it so difficult. We find it so difficult. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. You can just... Which is why I never tell anybody stop this, stop that. I only tell people do the breaths. Because मुझे मालूम है if it is not optimal, अपने आप it will drop. Whatever is not good will drop. Of course, sometimes relationships also drop. But yogis very soon get used to it because We understand that most relationships come with an inbuilt expiry date, and fine, the Rinanubandhan is over, okay, tata, bye bye. One hook is out, I don't need to expend any more life energy on this. Thank you for exiting my life. That's why yogis have the reputation for being harsh and uncaring and unfeeling. No, they're very pragmatic. Khatam ho gaya, okay. इतने सारे बाकी है, we need to figure that out. So this is what I am saying. Don't fight your vasanas and don't fight your samaskaras. Just get busy creating new ones. Just get busy creating more powerful ones, and all those problems will get dissolved. Not washed away, they will dissolve. Before you know it, those triggers are no longer working within you. And is it that simple? Yes, it is that simple. Requirement is you need to do the process. Requirement is you need to do and persist. Persist is probably the most important word in yoga, It's like a karte raho. It's the most important word. Yes, enough for today. Sarvam Shivamaya.